WOCA.
Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. Nice-looking day out there. We have, I hope, Cal Penn on the phone. Cal Penn, I'm sure you all know, is Dr. Lawrence Kuttner on the TV show House. You also know him as the character Kumar from the Harold and Kumar series, like Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle, which is 11 years old already. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Right? He's apparently, I went to the Wikipedia listing for Cal, and he's also friends with the president. It looks like Release has worked with him.
Wow.
Cal, are you there?
I am. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you on the phone with us.
Nice to be with you. I can't believe it's been 11 years. I'm just listening to this.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's right.
I think it's been that long since I've even had a White Castle hamburger. So. There's not too many here in Ocala. I think they have some in Miami, though. Not so sure.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, but I live in New York. I'm out here for some arts education stuff that we're doing with one of the local high schools.
Oh, wonderful.
And you have a new movie out called The Sisterhood of Night?
I do. It comes out this weekend, this Friday. Wow, tomorrow. See how I am with dates? This 11 years ago and this tomorrow thing?
I know. Well, you know what's interesting? You became like a handsome guy, and back then you were like a pretty boy. And I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. Sometimes pretty boys don't grow up to be handsome men.
Hey,
That's
I'll
right.
take it. I'll take the
You'll take
compliment.
that? You know the one thing I wondered about, though? Your mother was a perfume sniffer, is that right?
Yeah, she got her master's in chemistry, and apparently there is no computer that's been built that's more sensitive than the human nose. So there are these people who, when they make perfumes or scents or things like that, they sit in this room and they can tell by the sense of smell, if they have a chemistry background, what the chemical formula of what they're smelling is. It's nuts. It's so cool. So she retired recently, but that's what she did. My dad was an engineer. And how I became an actor, I have no idea.
How did you get involved with the White House? How did that happen?
In 2007, I was working on House, and there was a writer's strike in California, and we weren't able to shoot any episodes because there were no scripts. Politically, I've always been an independent, and in 2007, I really liked what the president had to say, and I thought, well, let me volunteer for this guy. And I had been going to grad school for cultural diplomacy, so there was something called the Arts Policy Committee that focused on things like arts education and cultural diplomacy, and I thought this would be a cool thing to do for a little while. And then he wins the nomination in the presidency, and there was an opportunity to serve in government. And what are you going to say? No, I have more stoner movies to make. Once in a lifetime opportunity to serve your country and take a sabbatical from acting, and of course, the intention was always to come back. It's my first love to make films and
That's
TV.
what I wondered about, actually. Yeah. Well, I mean, because you were back and forth a little bit, right? And didn't they prevent you, or was there like a rule you couldn't do both at the same time?
Yeah, so anytime you work in public service, particularly as a presidential appointee, they don't want any conflicts of interest. So if you're working in the private sector before that, and obviously I think, being an actor, there was a little undue attention, I think, for that. But there are so many people that do this. They work in medicine or they're CEOs or lawyers or academics, and they take a leave of absence to serve in government. But you've got to kind of sever those ties because it is a full-time job, and you're serving your country. You shouldn't be there for your own personal gain. And so that's why you have to take kind of a full break. But I loved it. I loved the 2 years, and what I'm kind of floored by even more was the fact that audiences were willing to let me into their living rooms and theaters again when I came back. So
oh my goodness! Well, why wouldn't they?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was great to come back to How I Met Your Mother, and then this film in particular, I just love because it's a little bit different than some of the other things that I've had the chance to do.
So let's talk about this film, The Sisterhood of Night. It starts tomorrow. Saturday. I'm sorry. I'm doing the same thing. Oh, what did you say? Tomorrow?
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Friday, the 10th,
Yeah. We've got this big film thing happening in Ocala, by the way. We've got this big movie festival.
Yeah, Silver Springs International Film Festival is going on this week.
So movies are on everybody's mind. Plus, John Travolta lives here, so it's like and this is where they made oh my gosh, the Tarzan movies back in the 50s?
Yeah.
Whenever it was?
Yeah, Doc Hollywood, Jeepers Creepers, those kind of films.
So we got a little bit of a mini Hollywood thing going here.
Cool. That's awesome.
So tell me about the Sister of Night. What is the story about?
Yeah, sure. So it's based on a short story by John Milhauser, and it's essentially kind of a modern day Salem witch situation. So it's about a bunch of high school girls in upstate New York who form a secret society, and there's a lot of hysteria in the town about what they're actually doing in this secret society, why they're keeping it secret. And when we shot the film, it was a really sweet story, I thought, about a bunch of high school girls. And as we made it, and then as we started screening it, it became really clear that if you're in your teen years or your 20s, a lot of these kids would see the movie and think, oh, this is about this group of friends, and adults would kind of look at it and say, oh, this movie touches on things like cyberbullying, or on text messaging, or concepts of assault, and things that we just can't relate to our kids about. How cool that we can see this and understand what that means. And what ended up happening in some of these early screenings were you would have high school kids who said, I wish I had brought my parents, which you never hear.
Right.
to a movie, and you had parents walking out saying, wow, I wish I had brought my daughter or son.
Oh, that says something about it.
It's kind of cool, right? It's certainly very different than some of the other movies I've had the chance to do, and I love that about this film, that it was written and directed by incredible, strong women. Most of the lead characters are all strong women. I play a guidance counselor who is the only sort of supportive adult character in the film, and it's just a really cool dynamic that I'm really proud of. I hope people see it.
That's a great character that you have, because so many adults, they just feel that they're going to interfere with the lives of their children, and they try to put up a barrier. And you really are showing everyone that the barriers should not be, and the adults should be the guide and not the best friend.
Thank you. Yeah, there is a lot of that, and that's even you sort of articulated the subtext really well of the film. It ends very sweetly. It's certainly funny elements to it also, but I think that's what we were going for. That to be able to create a movie that kind of bridges that gap and allows that understanding was really special. The writer and director are phenomenal.
Doing a good job of making us want to see it. So at this point in your career, this sounds like a very like a thoughtful film. It sounds like it's thoughtful. In an actor's career, when you're a hungry young actor, it seems like some actors take anything they can. Are you able now to be selective?
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is, right? And it comes in waves for actors. I think unless you're like a Brad Pitt or somebody where you can afford to sort of say, yes, I want to do this, no, I don't want to do this. And there's a mini version of that, I think, for every actor as you kind of move along in your career. I think to be honest, it's always an equation of if I have not worked in a long time, which happens for actors. You always save your money, but sometimes you do things. You're like, okay, my rent payment is due, and
right,
right.
Make something.
Right.
And then beyond that, there are of course the creative things. I loved this movie particularly because it's a character that's so different from the ones I've had the chance to play before, and that goes for other things too. I remember I played this kid on the show 24 for like 4 episodes, where I take a family hostage and end up getting shot at the end, and I'm part of like a terrorist sleeper cell. And a couple of folks had said, well, how do you feel about playing a terrorist? And I said, I got to tell you, the 3 things that I'm scared of in real life are handguns, hostage situations, and terrorists. So the chance to play one, what an incredible acting.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So does anybody give you advice to stay away from certain roles so that you don't become typecast?
I don't think so. I think it's really up to the individual actor and kind of your comfort level, your availability, your sort of range that you're comfortable with. I like to shake things up. I mean, the reason that I was drawn to acting in the first place is I love storytelling, and I love making people both laugh and cry and, feel emotion that you didn't feel before you went into a theater, but also, some of the more broad comedy stuff where if you've had a bad day and you can turn on the TV and laugh, I love the magic in that. So I definitely think, typecasting is something I'm always mindful of, but it's not something that always will dictate the career. It really depends on the character and the choices.
You really have a versatile personality. How do you manage to let go and become yourself after your day?
Oh, good question. I like to read. I really like to, most of my friends, my close friends, are sort of friends from college or from growing up, so I'm not always around kind of the folks who I work with, and I love them to death. I'm just trying to think in terms of needing a break from from work. It's always tough when you're when you're living and working with the same folks. But I've had a really good, great balance. And people often ask, well, in the movies and TV shows you've done, has it always been a good experience? Have you had any bad experiences? And I feel really lucky. All of the actors I've worked with, most of the producers, all really good people. And so to unwind, you take a step back. But I've also not had the most kind of I don't tend to work in jobs where I feel like I've got to get out of here. I feel really lucky about that.
I think we have to get out of here right now. You've got a tight schedule this morning.
Sure
Cal Penn, thank you. What an honor. Good luck and everything, and you're always welcome back here. The Sisterhood of Night. Be sure to go out to the theater and see Cal in the new movie. Thank you, Cal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
Is your credit headed in the wrong direction? If so, Florida Credit Union can help turn it around. If the signs are reading missing payments, maxing out cards, or borrowing from financing companies, it's time to steer your credit to safety. Pull into a Florida Credit Union today and let us help you map out a personalized credit management plan. Get a free credit report analysis and advice to help you consolidate wisely. A better plan can get you to a better